All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining for yet another Grow Up Academy session. So today we are going to be talking about executive assistant. I'm not going to go in depth on the topic of executive assistant because that's a really vast topic and it will require a lot of sessions. So today what we're going to do is understand, get a perspective on the differences on who an executive assistant is, what are the roles, what are the basic skills, and also understand the differences between an executive assistant in an offline mode or a physical executive assistant versus a virtual executive assistant. Now, executive assistant, we all have heard about that term. So what does that term mean, executive assistant? Right. So an executive assistant is a professional who provides administrative support and assistance to high-level executives or top-level managers within an organization. The role of an executive assistant is crucial in helping executives manage their workload, organize their schedules, and ensure smooth communication within the company. So in short, the definition of the executive assistant is already there in the word executive assistant. We are assisting executives to do their job. Now, you might think that you do not have the basic skills to be an executive assistant, but all of us, I believe, have the inbuilt skills that is required, the basic skills that are required for an executive assistant. Because in our role as mothers and wives, we are executive assistants. We have a little assistance in our own home. We schedule their getting up, going to school, going to office, schedule their the meals, get them ready with their dresses. All those things we are assisting them so that they do what they have to do. So inbuilt in us is the basic skills that is required for an executive assistant. But in a professional mode, we need to upskill and upgrade those skills to match with the workforce environment. Now, the word executive assistant is not something that just popped up in the World Dictionary. It is the role of executive assistant was there from the ancient histories. Now, if you look at the early modern times, or during the Renaissance periods, nobles or the rich landlords, they had they trusted a group of people who were clerks or skilled secretaries to handle confidential matters. These individuals played a crucial role in managing important documents, doing correspondence, and other administrative tasks for their employers. Even in India, if you look, we had zamindars, and they had their right-hand man who used to do all the controlling, all the financial part, making sure everything goes as per what the zamindars want. So those kind of people were also there in India. In the same way, in the West, the nobles also had a group of people who used to help them out. In the traditional role, these people used to manage the schedules, the meetings, answer the phone calls, but it was all but uh, but it was all confined to the physical office task because they do not have access to the digital tools and technologies that we have today. But in this age of digital age, after the years have gone by, after the years have gone by, um, sorry, after the years had gone by, in the digital age, the role of the EAs underwent a significant transformation. So as the technology advanced, executive assistants even evolved and became more proactive and became a strategic partners who were proficient in utilizing various digital tools and software. Instead of handling only the administrative tasks, they became a very important members of the team. They contributed to planning, they contributed to decision-making process. So in the current role of executive assistants, as most of you are aware, we we are not limited to the traditional administrative functions of just answering calls or corresponding. we can use technology and the various AI tools that are available for us and engage in strategic collaboration and improve the efficiency of our executives. We can use the various range of digital tools, and there are people who use CRM tools. There are people who use the communication apps, the video calls, and the calendar management tools. All those people are using it to streamline workflows and make sure that there's an effective communication within the organization. Now, what are the major roles of an executive assistant? You cannot put the roles all into one slide because it is unlimited. There's a lot of roles. But for the sake of this session, I have put down some of the basic main roles, that main responsibilities that an EA has to have. So one is to manage the executive schedules and events efficiently. So this involves organizing the executive's calendar, scheduling appointments, meetings, and events in such a manner that it maximizes their time and ensures that they can meet their commitments without any issues, without any conflicts. So for this, the most important thing is that the communication channel between the EA, that is us, and the client should be smooth. There should not be any conflict in the communication. Secondly, handling emails and calls for effective communication on behalf of the executive. This will include managing the executive's email inbox, responding or forwarding the emails as and when necessary. And maybe sometimes there will also be cases where the calls that are coming to the clients would be forwarded to you. So something that you would have to follow up on behalf of your executive. So all this needs to be done in a professional manner to ensure there is a smooth communication with both internal people, internally in the organization, and those people who are outside. So in case of handling emails on behalf of the executive, have a proper plan in advance, understand what kind of emails you can respond to on behalf of the executive, and what are those that need his or her urgent lookout. So what information you have to pass on, all this have to be discussed between you and your client in advance, so you have a clear path on how to do the inbox management. Thirdly, coordinate travel arrangements, including flights, stay, and transport. As an EA, you will have to be planning and booking travel logistics for the executive, such as flights, accommodation, transportation, or any other related travel needs. And this has to be done in such a manner that you ensure that there is a smooth and comfortable travel experience for your executive. Now, this topic was taken in detail by Komal a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to know more about this, go back to the Grove Academy database and search for Komal's a session on, I believe it's airport ethics. So just have a look at it and you'll have more information about this particular point. Next, organize and maintain important documents for easy access. Now, as if any of you have been working in an office, you know how important it is to file your documents properly. It's the same case in the virtual world also, because it would be at an instant, and you'll get a call from your client and say, I need to have this document, or I need to have this information. You need to know where the information or where the file is, so you can know that and retrieve the data and provide it to your client in an efficient manner if your files, if your documents are filed in a proper manner. Later on, I will tell you how that can be done. And the next point is to assist them in preparing meetings, agenda, and follow up, like minutes of meeting and call of action. So assisting the executive in doing all this. So before the meeting invite is sent to the respective people, you need to have a discussion with your client or with your executive on why the meeting is to be held, where it is to be held. Like in the virtual world, of course, you need to know which app you would be using. Is it Gmeet or is it Zoom? And what is the purpose of the meeting? and what all are required in the meeting. Is there any files, any documents, any props that is required? So all those things you need to have an understanding before you even send an invite to the invitees, because most of the cases, if there is an agenda that has been prepared, it has to go along with the invitation to the people who are attending the meeting. So you need to plan that in advance. And the next one would be supporting projects by conducting research and analyzing data. So there might be certain projects of your client where you have to help them by conducting research, gathering information, and analyzing the data so that you can provide valuable insights and support them in the decision-making process. Now, this is something that probably the executive can do by themselves, but they must be drowning in other works that they would give this job to you. So you need to do this market research and analyzing of data in a professional manner and ask the executive there's a deadline. If there's a deadline, please make sure that you maintain that deadline, that you submit the report within the deadline. And the last one is ensure confidentiality, solve problems, and improve efficiency in work process. Confidentiality, it is self-understood. I don't need to explain that, because most of the time we are handling the executive sensitive information. So we need to be very careful in what we share. And problems can come at any time. So we need to be ready for that. One thing that I would like to emphasize on solving problems can come at any time. Okay, there is no specific time that you cannot say, okay, this whole day is going to be super easy, no problems are going to come up. Maybe it's a problem that came up because of somebody else's mistake or because of us. But whatever the case be, before you approach your executive and tell them there is a problem, find a solution for it. So when you reach your executive, you have the problem plus the solution. It kind of helps them to calm down. So because when you have a solution for them, it may or may not be appropriate, but still, first of all, they know that your sincerity towards the job that you're doing. Second, maybe they can use the solution that you have given as a foundation for the correct solution that they want to give to you. So before you come to your executive with a problem, come up with a solution that can help them. Now, what are the basic skills that are required for an EA? I already told you in the beginning that basic inbuilt skills are there in us because as we manage our household works. But for the workplace, there are certain things that you need to upskill or you need to develop or you need to focus on. So one would be proficient in digital tools, communication platforms, and productivity software for efficient work. This means that we need to be skilled in various digital tools. Like you need to know the email communication system that your client is using. If it is Google Space or if it's Outlook, you need to be skilled in that. Any project management software like Asana or Trello, or any collaboration platforms that your client is using, or any productivity software like your Google Workspace, whatever it is that your client is using, you need to upskill yourself. Secondly, efficiently organize schedules, prioritize tasks, and maintain a well-organized digital workplace. This involves effectively managing schedules by scheduling and prioritizing the tasks, ensuring deadlines are met, and maintaining a clutter-free and organized digital workspace. Now, regarding prioritizing tasks, we have had a couple of sessions before regarding how you can prioritize your tasks. There are a lot of different methods that you can use. Please go back to the Grow Up Academy database and retrieve those sessions and have a look at it if you have any doubts. And also, when you're saying well-organized digital workspace, one thing that I have used personally is the Google Drive. It has helped a lot because if you have a separate Google Drive for your client and for yourself, you will not mix the documents and files. You will not have trouble finding them. Also, when you are saving your files and folders, make sure that the names are very short. Do not have a very lengthy file name. Make it very short. And also, you need to make sure that it is easily understood by whoever is looking at what are the contents of the folder. And right. So next one would be to possess strong written and verbal skills for efficient communication with executives and stakeholders. Now, written and verbal skills for the executive assistant, I remember that there was one of the most important skills that they used to look for a physical executive assistant. Your correspondence, your skills had to be top notch. But nowadays, we are so used to using short forms and slangs that sometimes our correspondence, sometimes those words come into our communication, our letter writing, our email writing. Sometimes we do not know what is the right word to use at that moment. But don't worry, as long as you have ChatGPT with you, type in what you want to do, paste it on a ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to rephrase it into whatever tone you need, whatever kind of language you want. So you can convert it into, and please rephrase it into US English if you have international clients, or UK English, or you can do it for like, please rephrase it into in simple Indian English. They will do it beautifully. So, excuse me. So you have all these AI tools with you. So use it wisely so that your your written skills or communication skills will be top notch. So when you send an email out, when you send a message out, you are not only portraying yourself, but you're also portraying the company you represent. So when you are communicating to your client, you're representing Grow Up. But when you are communicating to an external customer or a client of your executive assistant, you are representing your executive. Sorry, your executive. So we need to be very careful on how we do our communication. So next one would be to adaptable to diverse tasks, industries, and changing priorities. This means that we need to be flexible. We need to learn to be flexible and adaptable to take on various tasks and projects from different categories or different industries. When you get a job, when you get a task that is not within your comfort level, do not, you might get upset or you might get tensed up because you don't know about it. But if you have the willpower to, or if you have that attitude that this is something that I can learn, then that would be really good, because that is how you can learn new skills. You can learn about new industries. There are a lot of industries out there we don't know about. But when we are given a task for something that is out of our zone, we can take the effort. Sorry, we can take the effort to learn about it through Google, or Google it, or ask someone to help you understand it. That way you can upskill yourself, upskill your knowledge. So we need to be adaptable to different environment that changes around us. Next one would be to independently address challenges, allocate time effectively, ensure accuracy, and handle sensitive information with discretion. This involves being proactive, resourceful in solving problems and overcoming challenges, managing the time efficiently that you have to meet the deadlines, to understand what is high priority, what can be changed, and giving the attention to the minute details of the task that has been given to you. This might not be easy for someone who's doing it for the first time, but as you do it, continuously and repeatedly, this skill you will be upgrading yourself. So all the skills for an EA, which I have mentioned above, I must say that Grow Up has got the resources to upskill you in all of this. In every tool that you need for your current task, Grow Up has a resource for it. So if there is something that you feel like you're lacking or you want, you can always approach Grow Up and ask them for resources where you can, or they will help you to find the resources where you can upskill yourself. Moving forward, this is just a brief comparison between a physical EA and a virtual EA. Is nothing but an executive assistant in an office mode and an executive assistant in the virtual mode. What are the main differences and how both of these differs? So the first one would be the global accessibility. A physical EA is limited by physical location, and access to the talent are restricted. A virtual EA enables access to a diverse global talent pool, breaking down geographical barriers. Now, a virtual EA has got a clear advantage, like all of us, in a global network. We can work anywhere, and the talents can be accessed from anywhere in the world. For example, someone can hire a graphic designer from another country to create marketing materials for the someone over here in India for their upcoming project. Cost saving. Now, cost saving, virtual assistants was virtual executive assistant offers significant cost saving as they don't require a physical office space and all the other costs that are related to hiring somebody physically in an office. For example, an organization can allocate the funds which are saved from the office expenses to, and they can invest it in some other training programs for the employees. The next point is flexibility. All of you are aware that we have the flexibility in our work timings, and we can provide our flexibility and our availability because we work remotely, and also we can help people who are in different time zones. We can assist the people in scheduling meetings within the international for the international clients with different time zones. So a virtual assistant is helpful in that manner. Efficiency and productivity. A physical executive assistant relies on manual processes, or their systems would be outdated because their systems would be something that would be aligned with what their company is using. So they might not be able to efficiently do their job. But virtual assistants, they are very proficient in using project management software and communication tools because that is required for their line of uh, virtual activity. So you can use, like, for example, most of us, it's only after joining this in the grow up, but we came to know about different kind of software that is there in the market. Like, for example, for me, I did not know about Trello or Asana as a project management tool. So it is because we are in this field, we are able to upskill our skills based on the current tools that are available. And the last one is scalability. A physical executive assistant working in a very small office may face challenges in adjusting to a sudden increase of let's say a workload or a lot of projects that are coming up, and they might not be able to add more people in because of their limited spaces. But in virtual world, that is not a problem. We can easily scale up our support level. We can hire in numerous people to assist in a particular project. We are not constricted by space. So these are the basic differences between a physical EA and a virtual EA. Now, what is the impact of a virtual executive assistant? So virtual executive assistants have become increasingly influential in the business landscape, especially in recent years, because as most of you know, the virtual work from home that the industry has come up post-COVID. So what are the impacts that we have virtual executive assistants have had on the business landscape? First of all, EAs, virtual executive assistants, they save time by handling tasks like scheduling and coordination. Executives can focus on strategic work and improve management practices. And then, as more companies adopt remote and hybrid work setups, there's a growing demand for effective support. Virtual EAs engage in problem solving, project management, and decision making. Some even represent their clients in meetings. Virtual EAs work remotely as independent contractors. Adaptability and social skills are crucial in today's dynamic business environment. Now, all these points are, I don't think it needs much of an explanation because most of this I have mentioned in my previous slides, and we being part of this reality, virtual industry, we are all aware of how these points have impacted the business world. Now, there are certain challenges that we face working as a virtual assistant. Um, well, not only the executive assistant, no matter what domain that you are working in currently in the virtual world field, you will be facing these challenges. And what are the solutions? How can we solve them? So first one is isolation and team connection. You might be in your four corners of your wall, of your room, and you would be feeling very lonely at times. So what is the solution for that? regular virtual check-ins and team building activities. And that is what we have in ProHub, all the solutions we have in ProHub. So I'll go through it one by one. So regular virtual check-ins and team building activities helps in removing the feeling of being alone for the virtual assistant. Communication barriers. You might have be confused on what kind of channels you would have to use with your client. So as long as you have a clear protocols and channels and a correct time to respond to your clients, that would be solved. Time zone differences. You might be working for clients who are in a different time zone, but if you work with them and plan in advance when you can talk to them or when you can communicate with them, matching the time zones between yourself, that would help out. Technology challenges, that is one of the major challenges that I have faced. Sometimes the laptop crashes, sometimes the earphones don't work, network glitches, all these are there. But knowing what to do at when each situation happens, that would really help us. And having the contact of a IT support person who is nearby you, who can help you out in the small glitches, that would be really ideal. Work-life balances. You will have a problem with your work-life balances if you don't set clear boundaries and if you don't take breaks. I'm telling you this from experience, because if you do not clear your boundaries with your client, you will have no time for your personal life. And the reason why you came up into this platform is because you wanted to have a personal life with your family. Building relationships, virtual networking events, and team building exercises helps in building relationships. That is one of the greatest things that I have found in Grow Up. There have been a lot of close relationships that I have made up in Grow Up because of the different kind of town hall activities that we have had. So going forward, now this is one thing that I wanted to explain, because I understand that most of you, though some of you might be having single clients, some of you might be having more than one client. So how do you work with multiple clients? Even if you have multiple clients, you need to give the same importance to each one of them. So there are certain key points that you need to ensure so that we don't have any embarrassing moments like sending the wrong message to the wrong client. So these are some of the main points that I have come up with. Identify and prioritize tasks, develop a daily and weekly plan. Before your day starts or the day before, you decide on what are the tasks that needs priority. You might have two clients, client A and client B. So each one of them will have their own task. You prioritize that. And then from the top priority, prioritize which one goes first. Right? Client A is high priority task or client B is high priority task. So when you put that, divide that into different categories, it will help you to organize your day for the next day. Communicate clearly with clients about availability, the working hours, and preferred communication channels. This one, along with the next point, defining your boundaries to avoid conflicts and scheduling and overlapping responsibilities. These 2 points are almost similar. It just means that you need to have a proper communication with the client, diplomatically telling them that this is how you work, this is your working time, and this is how much you need to work. And to make sure that both of you understand the tasks that are being given to you. And then focus on one client's task at a time. Do not multitask on the clients. If you're doing one client's work, do not stop that immediately and then start on something else. Finish one client and then focus on the other client, so that you don't, there is no conflict of our brain might be really great in handling multitasking, but when it comes to multiple clients, to avoid any embarrassing moments or any silly moments, try not to multitask between the client's tasks. Okay, this is another point. Create separate digital workspace of folders for each client to keep files, communications, and relevant information organized and easily accessible. I will give you an example from my own experience. I have separate Google Drive for each client of mine. So whatever documents, whatever files that I prepare, I save it in each of their Google Drive. If it is possible, and if your client allows, create a Gmail account for yourself for that particular client. so that the email correspondences that you do will be separate. Most of the time, the clients allow that, but if you do not have it, you can suggest this matter to them. Schedule regular check-in meetings with each client to discuss ongoing tasks and updates and address any questions or concerns that you might have, you or they might have. Be adaptable to their working styles and communication method of each client. Each client will be different. Follow their preference. And of course, maintain confidentiality for each client's information. Balance multiple clients by taking care of yourself to prevent burnout and ensure high quality work. If you do not take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of your clients, which is going to affect your work, which is going to create mistakes, and which will make you look very inefficient. So always take care of yourself. First, do not allow burnout, do not allow work burnout, because if it is something that you love doing, you will have no problem in doing it. But if it really brings down your put mental pressure, then you need to take a step back, analyze yourself, and then go back, correct yourself, and then restart what you were doing. So to conclude, a virtual executive assistant for the businesses, it helps the businesses to optimize cost by eliminating the need for physical office space and equipment. The scalability of the virtual EAs allow for efficient allocation of resources based on fluctuating demand, ensure maximum productivity without sacrificing quality of support. But for a virtual executive assistant, it benefits us by offering flexibility in our work arrangements, reduces stress associated with commuting, and also enhances our efficiency by delegating administrative tasks, fostering professional growth through focused work, and ultimately contributing to job satisfaction and a better work-life balance. So I hope that this session has been helpful to all of you in one way or the other. And I thank you all for being here in this session and attentively listening to what I was saying. Thank you so much.